Hello everyone, Ceri the Crafter here, that's C-E-R-I the Crafter, and we're eventually going to finish my abstract Christmas card project. I apologise, I have no idea what's happened to me this past week. Things have just got away from me and it's just got away from me. So we made these. This will be in video 1. The link will be below. I then did sort of a bonus side sort of a video, which I'll also put in, which was how I created the inserts with the written messages on, which you'll see. I'll put it below anyway. You'll see them when we get to them. And this one is where we're going to end this project. So these are the backgrounds we created. Now I did want to see, I thought I had 3 vertical and 3 horizontal. Right, so that could go either way. Let's see, what one do I like the best? I think I like that there. Right, sorry, just need to do a little bit of mental shuffling of stuff around, just so I remember that 3 are meant to be verticals, portrait, 3 is meant to be landscape. So let's look at first a couple of things I wanted to do. First of all, I have this. Now this is gift wrap tissue. I have stamped on this using my Happy Houses foam stamps. There's 3 of them. I believe you can buy them individually. You can also buy them as a set if you wish to. If you look in the description box below, go to the bottom, you'll see, oh good grief, there's a couple of options. You could go to foam stamps and it will lead you through to my personal website. On there, you'll only see my foam stamps and my stencil designs. However, when you click on one of the images, say you wanted to get this one, you click this, it will then take you through to PM Artist Studio where there's more information and where they can be purchased if you so choose. There's also a link in the description box that says Ceri Griffiths Designs on PM Artist Studio. You can click through that one, it'll take you directly to PM Artist Studio. That's where they're manufactured, that's where they're distributed from, and that's where you'll see all of the designs on there from all of the wonderful other designers. So I wanted to use these because I designed these for last year and I didn't receive them in time, and then I felt that the ship had sailed and I didn't use them for Christmas after all, but I still want to use them for Christmas this year. So let's see, I'm going to do one of these. They will fit on there. Oh, actually that one might fit better. And I wanted one of these that's got, I think that one. So I'm going to do those 2. Now, if you've never worked with gift wrap tissue paper, you can tear it, or as I've got here, is I've got a water brush. It's a brush that's got this bit here that can be filled with water, which you can then just come in, paint around something, and it just makes it easier to tear. 99% of the time I don't do this, I just tear them. But it's personal choice. Just know there is an easier option if you find tearing something is difficult because of dexterity or something. So that's taken that one out of there. I don't want the same one twice. I'm wondering. This sort of reminds me of the Munster house, and I don't know, or the Adams family house. I don't know why, because it doesn't look anything like the Adams family house. Let's take this one out of here, because I can. And then this piece of tissue will just go straight back into the box where I keep all of my tissue pieces for future date. Because what I do is, I like to stamp in acrylic paint. So I stamp using my foam stamps and acrylic paint. So if I'm coming to the end of a project and I've got spare acrylic paint on the go, my first thing is I grab some stamps and I'll stamp onto tissue. Now I think I'm just going to tear this. I find tearing it easy. If you're going to tear, hold it between your finger and your thumb and then just roughly tear around it. Because it's gift wrap tissue, depending on the colour of the background, like if I was to do this on black, you would see maybe a ghosting of the tissue paper in the final piece. But if you did it on white, the tissue, or pale colour, the tissue would absolutely disappear, which is what I'm hoping it's going to do here. because we've got quite a lot of white on this. That's one. And I'm going to share with you a little trick that I like doing with these, just to bring them to life a little bit. And you can, of course, take things a whole lot further than I'm doing. As I said in the beginning, I'm doing quick and easy, abstract-ish greetings cards for the season of December. So let's just take that off there. Stuck to me already. We've not even got glue involved and I'm already covered in stickiness. I think that'll be okay. Just take that bit off there. Sorry guys, I would have done this ahead of time. However, I know that if I'd done it ahead of time, people would ask me, Ceri, how did you do that? So pretty much I do everything as you see it on the screen. Now, there's a little trick I like to do with this. Now, first of all, if you've stamped with black onto gift wrap, if I was to glue it down that way and then put matte medium over the top, the ink would show through, so you could have your house going in different directions. Also, the way I designed them, let's see if I pull this one back in again. I've designed them so that if I wanted to make sort of a street scenario, if I butt them up close enough to each other, you can do a line of them almost street-like, and you can have a row of houses. Just for your information. So what I like to do here is I like to give them some life. So how am I going to do this? Let's do it on a gel plate. I'm going to have to lift this up for you, I think. So I'm going to pick these up and turn them over. You don't need to do this on a gel plate. I'm just doing it on the gel plate because it'll hold them in place while I try and do this one-handed to show you what I'm doing. So as you can see, they're just on the gel plate. Then I get myself an acrylic marker. This one happens to be Artex. It's an acrylic marker, and because it's a marker, it's going to be opaque. And then I'm going to come in, can you see me? You can. And I'm going to gently put yellow into the back of the windows. Now, because it's been stamped in acrylic paint, it does mean that even if the paint soaks through, it's not going to show on the other side. I would say, however, just be really, really careful, because remember, you're using something wet, which this acrylic pen is, on gift wrap tissue, which does mean that it's going to dissolve the surface of the tissue paper unless I'm very careful. So let's just bring that down there. Now, it depends on you as to how carried away you get. Now, if you are doing this with gift wrap tissue, as I've said, it can be a bit fragile. If you're doing it with wet strength tissue paper, which is a little more robust, and before now I've coloured the whole thing in from behind, and then when I've stuck it down, I've got the perfect little stamped house. So I would have come in and I would have put terracotta around it. Right, a little bit above the door needs it as well. Right, let's put that down. I'm not going to do the other one because I want you to see the difference between them. So, I mean, I could use something more orange if I wanted, but once they're done, they're fine. Now, this is where you have to be careful, because obviously it could tear. I would normally have left this dry for a little while, but as you can see, you now have the lights behind the window. So bear with me. I'm going to pause you for a second, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. You've seen me do it once, you don't need to see me do it. So that's how two houses done. Now I'm going to put these on. As I said, I would normally leave these till those windows are fully dry, but yeah, as it's you, I'm going to take a risk. Now I'm going to use Liquitex Basics Acrylic Matte Gel Medium. It doesn't come in a tub, it usually comes in a squeezy tube like this, but I find it a lot easier to use if I put it into one of these. Now bring that in. Let's see if I can find something. Let's just get a bit of magazine paper. Now, I want to place this down in that corner, so I'm going to take a reasonably soft brush and I'm going to give this an adequate coat of matte gel medium. It's quite a warm day here today, so I want to move a little bit quick. I'm going to pick up my house, pop it into the scene. I've folded over the top there somehow. How have I done that? There you go. And then I'm going to bring in a little bit of plastic wrap. I would if it would come off the roll. And I've got a bit of glue on top of there, which might cause me a problem, but we'll see. And take a bit of kitchen paper and just gently, and I do say gently, press it down. This should get rid of all of the air bubbles for you. If you rub too hard, you're likely to put a crease into the plastic wrap, which may translate into a tear in the tissue underneath. I'm just going to peel this back, and I peel it back flat to the surface. I'm going to let that sit just for a few seconds and give it a really quick little coat over the top. Now we're going to do the same on this one. Yes, we do want it in the same place. Now, this method of stamping with paint and then gluing down, for me, is sort of a fail-safe way of doing things, because it means that I'm not going to stamp onto these backgrounds and get it wrong. I can make sure I choose the best of the images I'm using and then go from there. Now, I'm not going to use the end that's got the matte medium on it. I'm going to turn around so I've got a fresh area and work from the other side. However, what I was trying to say is you could do this with inscriptions. You could do this with any of the stamps you've already got. Maybe you've got Christmas tree stamps or Santa stamps, anything like this. By doing it on tissue first, you take the worry away from yourself, guys. Because I don't know about you, but I find stamping directly onto a background quite stressful. Let's put that to one side. I don't think I'm going to need that again, but I am going to need the matte medium in a second. So, as you can see, I folded top over somehow. And just have a quick moment, see if I can just smooth that out. Yes, I think I can. Right, so we've got our houses on here. What I would say now is I would normally leave these probably about 10 or 15 minutes just to dry, but because I'm doing the video, I'm going to be careful. I've got a little tiny bit of the matte gel medium, and I'm just letting the weight of the brush go over the top. This will just seal everything down, and it means that nothing's going to lift up, and hopefully nothing will get damaged along the way. I mean, at the end of the day, these are a greetings card. They're not a front of a journal, or they're not a journal cover or anything like that. So that's that one done. It goes on slightly cloudy. It will clear up when it dries. So I've gone a little quiet there. It happens when I'm concentrating. Right, let's put that on there. So that's the first two of ours. We'll come back to them when I've actually finished everything else. Right, now what's next? Let's see. I wanted to do something that was just really, really abstractish. Let's do that one. Okay, I'm going to use a foam stamp, and this isn't one of my designs. This is a PM Artist Studio design. I want to say it's called Nested Squares, but I've got a feeling it's not called Nested. It's some of these squares. I will try my best to find this link to this set of 3, and I'll put it in the description box for you. But if I don't, just go onto the PM Artist Studio and actually look up squares. And in the foam stamp section. So I'm just going to put my piece down here, and this is going to be quite an abstract thing. I'm going to use gold metallic paint. This is one of my favorite golds that I use. I'm just going to brayer this out. Now, to do this, you don't need a gel plate and a brayer. You could put some paint onto a clean surface and smear it with a brush or something, and then pick up gold. So I'm just going to look to make sure I've got a good coating of gold on there. I tend to press in the middle because sometimes foam stamps become a little concaved when they reach the heat of the laser. put it on there, give it a little bit of press. I don't hammer, I just press. I'm going to come in and do that again. I want it in a couple of places, maybe even 3 places. But I thought this really is a nice thing that represents almost a Christmas star. I'll lift it up for you in a second. I want another one down by here. That one's a bigger one. So as you can see now, that's giving it something that little bit extra. So that'll be number 3 done. Now there is one I'm going to do in a moment. Where are we doing? Is it this one? I think it's this one. Was it this one? It is this one. Right. Sorry, I've got it in my mind what I'm doing. It's just, I don't know what's wrong with me, guys. I can't seem to focus lately. So I'm going to come in and I want to put a couple of these, and I want them on the left-hand side and the top of this card. Now these are forming part of the background in this instance. This now needs to be put in water just so that it dries off, so it doesn't dry out. I want it to soak in water so that the acrylic paint comes off it, because if I don't do that, the paint will seal it, and then if I ever try to use it on ink, it's not going to work. So I'll be back in 2 seconds. And I'm back. So this is the one that I just put those last 2 random pieces in because I wanted just a little bit of sparkle in this one. Now what I'm going to do here is, I'm sure you've seen me make painty papers before now. And what I do is, these are just book pages. I clean up my roller and my stamps and stuff on. They're just clipped to a book cover from Gutted Book. And actually, that's exactly what I was looking for. And I tried to group them roughly in colour groups. Well, that would have been dramatic, wouldn't it? Too many options. Let's put that to one side. I've got the greens here, and I've got a feeling it's probably the one on top I'm going to want. So just have a quick look through here. I'm looking for something that would make a Christmas tree. That's what I'm looking for. I think that's it, actually. Right, I'll just put a binder clip, or whatever you call it, and where you are on the top. That just keeps it all from moving around. Right, I want to put a Christmas tree, but pretty much a half Christmas tree. So I'm going to come in. I like this side here because it's got a bit of shine to it. So let's just take the edge off there. Right, and take it out of there. And that will be enough. Right, I'm just going to come in, give myself an angle, and I think I want the same angle going the other way. So if I put this down at the bottoms of the top, that will give me the same angle. And come and put the ruler there. Now I'm going to cut half of this off anyway. Do I want a second one? Sorry, thinking out loud, guys. If I do another one, let's see if I just ad-lib this one. I think that will do. Right, these go into my scrap box. Just another box. I've got so many different scrap boxes on the go, I tell you. I've got a scrap box for painted papers, a scrap box for tissue papers. There's just so many scrap boxes. Right, do I want to edge those? No, I do not. Let's bring this in. Now, I could use matte medium on these, but they're book page. And I know that because these are not coated on the back with anything like a matte medium or a gesso or something like that, they would really ripple. But the rule of thumb is, the wetter the glue, more likely it is that your piece is going to ripple on you or buckle. Glue stick is more than adequate for what I'm using this for. I want to come in there and lift it up so I can just see where the bottom is. Smooth that down. I'm going to come in with the other little one. And this will just represent Christmas trees. As I said, we're not going for realism in any way, shape or form. Now, what you could do as another step, if you wanted to do it, not something I'm doing, is you could take like a hole punch or a binder punch, and you could just cut some little discs of coloured paper and actually stick them on as Christmas baubles if you wish. Or if you've got anything like a glitter glue or something, you could do little baubles on there. I'm okay with that. That's abstract enough for me. Right, so I pulled out two circle punches. I want to say this is a 1.5, 1.5, and that's a 1 inch. I've also pulled out a bit of craft card for what I'm about to do. I need to find something now that I can actually punch to give me Christmas baubles. So I need to find something that's reasonably colourful. Let's pull this back in, see if I've got anything in here that's got metallics that are very obvious. Don't know that I have, to be honest. Actually, I keep looking at that. I'll keep that out. That might be very dramatic. How many pieces have I got of this? Oh, I've got 2 pieces. I wonder. You know what? Nothing ventured, nothing gained, as the saying goes. Right, I'm just going to come in. Let's try this one first. I'm going to use the 1.5 inch Christmas bauble to me. Let's use the little one. Find a piece on here. What are you flying around for? Just cut this edge off. I can't get my punch close enough in. That's a little one. And I think I'd like one. I wonder whether I do it in this colour. Let's do... Well, that ruined the edge of that, didn't it? Let's see if I can do it. Oh, well, I might be able to get away with that. I'd like one in the middle size, and I don't have a middle size punch, so that's never stopped me before, Griffiths. Right, let's see if I can find something that's about middle sized. That might be just the thing. Put that down. Get myself a pencil. Now, I do have a set of dies that I could cut all of these with, but I try to keep it simple, guys, because not everyone has a whole load of equipment. I mean, I'm lucky enough to, this is my job, so I do have quite a bit of equipment because I kind of need it. And do I need to be cutting this with the biggest scissors in the world? No, not when my fussy cutting scissors would have done the job just as well. I'm not a fan of fussy cutting. I think that's probably going to be tacked onto one of my, well, it's just going to be somewhere written out how Ceri hated fussy cut. I don't hate it, that's a bit dramatic really. I'm just not keen on it. Right, so. Right, I think I can get away with that once they're done. Right, I'm going to pull in some art glitter glue for this one, for no other reason than I just feel I want to bring in art glitter glue. I'm wondering how I want to position these. The bigger one gives me the illusion it's in the foreground. Right, let's put you down first. Of course, you can use whichever glue you wish. I'm only using this glue because this is cardstock. This isn't paper stock. So I want something that's going to give it a little more glue to stick to the plate with. Right. I want that vertical, not because of my perfectionism, it's just I want that horizontal. So I'm playing with what is on the paper to start with. I think that by there would look great. Right, we need to make those now into baubles. So let me see if I can find a gold pen. Right, so I've got my gold Posca here. Oh, I'm going to put I want to make sure I know where the top is. There, there, and there, right. I'm going to draw myself a little block. Most of us are aware of what the top of a Christmas decoration looks like. So I'm just doing a bit of a block shape on the top. Then I'm going to bring in, I've got a 0.7 millimeter or a PC-1R Posca in black. See if make sure that's working okay. Because what I'd like to do, this is going to be a bit tricky really because I'm not sure this one's dry, but bear with me. I don't recommend doing this until your glue is fully dried. I just want to go around the outside of the red bauble, just to define it a little bit. Then I'm going to draw around each of those pieces I just put on there. I need a little ring, don't I? Those are pretty good circles for me. I don't normally do circles well. Right, now I need to draw a straight line. Now I'm tempted to bring out a ruler, but the trouble with using a ruler is sometimes the paint goes underneath it from the paint pen, so I'm going to have to do this freehand. I'm okay with that. Now this would be a prime thing if I had something like a holly sticker or holly stamp, or I could actually just freehand holly at the top. I'm not going to, but just know there are options. Also, that down there is crying out for something to be put into it. So, right, and we're on to our last one. Right, let me just clear the decks a bit. So this one. Now, I've had a look around and I've come out and I've pulled out my box. This is just where I keep my Christmas bits and pieces. As I said, I don't normally have a lot of Christmas stuff, so I thought I can find something in here. These are bits of a digital. They were Tracy Fox digital, I believe. I'm just having a quick look through to see if anything jumps out at me. That could work. Let me just put that to one side. Oh, that would work, but I think she needs something behind her. be cupcake for Christmas. Actually, you know what? I think I could get away with, oh, there's one with, I don't know whose set this is. It might be a Rachel and Bella craft kit. I think that will do. I'm torn between that and the baubles. No, the baubles are doing it for me. Sorry. Right, and these are just pieces that were from recycled Christmas cards last year, I think. Oh, there's another bit of something. Right, enough of that. I'm going to do this. So let's put you to one side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick her down first. But as you can see, she's got a really white edge to her. So I'm going to come in with some vintage photo distress ink just to go around the edge of this stamp. Because she's going onto a white background, I want to give her some sort of frame around the edge. Well, we might be going around this as well. I'm unsure at the moment. Let's bring in this. This is just paper to paper, so I'm okay with that. Right. I'll centralize that up. I'm just going to grab my little guillotine. I'm just going to eyeball try and get that relatively centered. I'd quite like that little bit of gold off the edge of there as well. A little bit more off there. That will work. Now I'm going to pull in. Should I do it in gold? Yes. So I'm going to pull back in this gold pen of the Posca pen. I'm just going to come in. Now what I'm doing is I'm resting the nib on the edge of the card. And as I pull it around, it will give really fine border. Don't press too hard because if you slip, you mark everything. There you go, that will look nice on there. And then what I'm going to do is, once I've got this stuck down, I will then show you how I put one of the card fronts, or should I do the card inserts first? Let's do the card inserts first, I think. So right, let's lay you on a bit of something so that I can do the glue stick on the back. This image was definitely from Rachel and Bella Craft. They're a craft company based here in Wales. And I know that that image is from them because I remember doing the collaboration with them. Right. Now, I did say to you, well, let's have a look at all of them for a start. So we've got different versions. And I think they're not 100% Christmas, but then, as I said, I didn't want them 100% Christmas. So that's what we're looking at as far as that goes. So I do have my 3 that are landscape, my 3 that are portrait. So I'll put those to one side, those to one side. Now let's talk about the insert. The bit that goes into the card. So I've got, this is just one I've got. It's not one of the cards we're using. So the aim is to put that into the card so that then when you close it, everything is concealed. But then when you open it, it should help open the center as well. It'll make sense when I do it, guys. Now, there are lots and lots and lots of different ways of doing this. So please be aware that if you want to do cards, look around and see who else has got cards that you want to do the same as they do. So I've got some really thin sticky tape, double-sided tape, And I'm going to put that down, right down next to the spine of the card itself. Okay, so if this was the front of the card, it would open up, this would be on the back. If it was this orientation, it would be on the back. Next thing I do is I'm going to get myself a knife because I'm notoriously bad for stickers. I'm going to peel this off. I said this is just the way I'm doing it now. This is your inscription. Fold it up, fold it that way, lift this up so you can butt this against the spine. So currently it's not sticking to anything, but it's given you a way of actually putting it in place. Then gently close the card and press down. What that will do now is the card is now attached to the back. The trick is that with the card, if you open it, it may not open up. So you just need to put a small piece in here. I'm just going to take a little bit, about an inch, inch and a half, and I'm going to come in, just going to pop that along there. And then very gently, because I don't want to cut my paper, said he. Just going to lift that up. And again, I'm going to gently close my card. Let's take that out of the way for a start. So what happens now is when you open the card, it will automatically open the front. Okay, so that's how I do my cards. Therefore, it's nice in the middle. The couple of things I would say is when you put your tape down, don't stretch it because it could buckle here. If you use glue, because you could use glue for this, try not to use too wet of a glue. If you use a wet glue, put a thin line of it down there and do as I've done, close it over. Put a thin line there, close over. The wetter your glue, the more likely it's going to buckle this. So that's how I put an insert in. So I was just doing my last insert. As you can see, I've already done the one that holds the back in. And I realised I hadn't told you something. You saw me put the tape here on the insert. There is no reason why you can't put the tape here on the inside of the card, because just in case you're nervous of slipping with a knife or something, you can quite easily come in here and put your tape down here or your thin line of glue and come in and do this side, then hold this closed and press it over. It will do equally the same job. Okay, just so you're aware. Right, now I just need 2 seconds to clean up and then I can show you how I put the fronts on them. So just before I put the card fronts on, let's address a few other things, right? I've got my marker here and I've got a PC5M, which is a Posca pen marker. I like to do what I did around the little girl's stamp piece. I like to run a black marker around the edge of each of these toppers because that will save me having to outline it when it's on the card itself. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do this with black. It's just a nice way of doing stuff. Let's put that by. Now, a couple of things we could talk about at this point. There is nothing saying before I put, say I'm putting this one on the front of here. There is nothing saying that I couldn't come in with one of the stamps that's involved here and actually stamp it onto the background before I put this on, or even stamp it onto the envelope to carry the theme through. Just so you're aware of that. I'm wondering whether I should do that. Have I got some red ink somewhere? Right, I've got the same foam stamp. This is my screw heads one, the same one, and I've got, making sure I've got that in the right position, making sure this is the front of the card. Then I bring in a bit of paper to stamp upon. And this is archival ink. I don't normally stamp with ink. Nothing wrong with stamping with ink. I just like to stamp with paint. So as that's in the top corner, I think I'm going to come in here, press that down on there. And as you can see, it will then add a little bit which balances that. What I could then do is take that to one side. This is my envelope. I could come in once again with the same theme, put it on the corner of the envelope, and then if I open the envelope up, I could once again come across the back there. So see what I mean? So then the whole card and the envelope would all match and go together. So my intent is now, let's take that to one side, is I'm going to get these put together. I'm going to do one for you, and then the rest I'll actually do and then show you afterwards. So that one might work well on there. So there's so many more things you can do with these guys. So many more things, like you could stamp small holly border around it. If you're good at doodling, you could doodle a border around this, but I think that works well on there. Now, can't say enough, always make sure your card opens in the right direction before you do the topper onto it. So the way I do a topper, I use double-sided tape a lot, so therefore if you don't use double-sided tape, just use whichever glue you feel is best for you. So I'm just going to put some double-sided tape across each of the edges. I'm not hugely picky that it's stuck all the way to the edge. To be honest with you, when it comes to a card, the greetings card is going in an envelope, then it's probably going on someone's mantelpiece at Christmas, and then it might go in the trash, might go in recycling, it might get put into a journal. So it's not like it's what I would call a high traffic element. It's not going to be pulled apart. We're not going to be in danger of things falling off, is what I'm trying to say. So, right. You can usually get double-sided tape. Even now I can pick it up in my grocery store if I really wanted to. Right, that little bit there is going to cause me an issue, so that needs to come off. So, as you can see, I've now got my pieces all there. I will now come in and I'm going to take my little knife. Why won't you peel back for me? Why are you peeling up? There you go. It was having a bit of a funny moment on me. How dare it? Well, I can't tell you how old the double-sided tape is, so it could be another issue in the making. Now, as you can see, I'm just opening the top edges out, and there is a very important reason why I'm doing that and not taking the whole sticky off. Right, let's talk about it before I do it. Now, if I was to take all the sticky tape off, the moment I put it on the card, it's stuck. I don't want that. So I'm going to come in with a bit of glue stick in the middle, just enough to hold it down. Give me a little bit of wiggle room. Now I'm going to make sure, once again, we've been through this 1,000 times, the card opens in the right direction. Then I'm going to pick up my piece and I'm going to rest it on the little paper tabs. The paper tabs keep it away from the surface of the card. It means you can line it up with the edges, you can position it as you wish. And as soon as you're happy with where it's at, put your finger in the middle, and you've still got wiggle room. Now, as soon as you're happy, hold it down gently but firmly, and then pull the strip of the tape out. Once you've done that, the thing is secure. And that's how I put the fronts on my cards. So that, paired with that envelope, looks lovely. And we're done. Right, before we do a bit of a flick through, let me just say something, just so that you fully understand. Yes, I'm a guy who makes cards. I do not class myself as a card maker. I make fronts and I stick them onto store-bought, pre-folded cards that I buy in bulk with envelopes. That to me does not make a card maker. A card maker is an artist all of their own who does like trifolds, waterfalls, apertures. Some of these three-dimensional cards are absolutely mind-blowing and I couldn't get. So This is just me making what I term as greetings cards and thank you cards that I send out to certain people, maybe with Happy Mail and stuff like that. I would also say that there are so many different ways to do things. This is a very basic way of doing things. Just please make sure that if you really want to get into card making, there are so many brilliant card makers out there. Just look on YouTube. Believe me, you will have lots of them. Also, as I said, I was aiming to make slightly abstract, slightly Christmas cards. You could do the same techniques and really go to town with all this. So let's have a look and see what I've achieved. So I went through, and every one of them does have an envelope. There you go. That's the first one, and that is one of my happy houses. And thank you to Sue from KTC Designs for the inserts. Remember, the insert video is going to be the link below. So that's number 1 card. This is number 2 card. Again, I did the envelope. Thank you, Rachel Bella Craft, although Rachel will never know I did that because this is from my ephemera from about, got to be at least 1.5 to 2 years ago. Again, one of the stickers for the inserts. This one, remember, was just made out of stamping techniques to give a bit of a hint to Christmas sparkle and some scrapbook pages. I could have gone round them with a pen. I could have got a hole punch and punched out little, maybe metallic pieces and stuck them on there as baubles. I could have taken it to another level, but I'm happy with what I've done there. This one I did the envelope. This one was just bits of scrap card and just made some baubles. I mean, it's handmade. That's what people want to have from me. I have gone to the effort of making someone a card. I think that's far better than going out and buying a card, which may be absolutely perfect and machine finished, but I like to know that I have taken the effort to say Merry Christmas or thank you or greetings to whoever receives one of my cards. Again, now this was quite a really abstract one. I would say you could easily decorate this further, but I like abstract, so absolutely perfect. And the last one is probably my favorite out of all of them, to be honest with you. And yes, I did do the envelope, and I don't know why this one's my favorite, probably because I like numbers and the numbers are in it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. As I said, the series, normally 3 videos would probably take me about 1.5 days. It's taken me over a week to get these 3 videos done. I have no idea whether it's the phase of the moon, my age, or just, I don't know. There's lots of distractions at life for me at the moment, and there's a lot going on, and it's very busy. That sounds like an apology. It's not an apology, because I do know that you've always said, Ceri, do what you can do when you can do it and get it to us. You will always enjoy it. Thank you very much for your support. So, at the end of the day, I'm Ceri the Crafter. That's Ceri the Crafter. Until next time, goodbye now.